Good day, traders. This is Rick with our video 2 in our series of our how to navigate the call room and rules for call room engagement. Today we'll be covering in this video the entry, how we get into two of our setups, and they are very similar in similarity as far as how we manage and how we get into them. There are slight differences that I would like to go over, and the first one I want to discuss is the understanding trader, as we call it, the UT. Now a UT will carry the same stops and everything as these trades in video 1, except for the fact on the UT trades and our power play, which we're going to discuss as well, we do have the opportunity about 15% of the time or so, we will have to add to the trade. And when we add to the trade, we'll get out of it at or as close to break even as possible. But for the purposes of this video, we're just going to go over the entries. So first on the UT. A UT is a trade that will carry two different characteristics. We're going to first wait for a price to print. Okay, meaning as you see price moving around here on the chart, okay, we are going to wait for a price to print. Okay, and I'm going to call a trade. I'm going to say if we print 2160.50, 2160.50, we're going to look to get short at that price. Now that's one way I'm going to call it. So if I call it that way, you're going to put a stop. Okay, you can try to get filled on a limit, but it's better to do a sell stop at 2060.50. Okay, and let's see, and we'll go and we'll see how we get into this trade. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that price to print. So if that price doesn't print and I call off the trade before it gets to that price, then there'll be no trade. Once 2060 prints, okay, there you go, we're going to get short. Okay, once we make a point in the trade, 2060.150 or 2059.50, I'm sorry, you're going to be out of the trade. Okay, now we made a little bit more on that because I had to set my stop and everything like that, but you see the gist of how we do that. You can also do it on an ATM. If you used a one contract ATM, what you would do is you would go 2060.50. We always will start taking profits at a point. So once that price is printed, okay, market's going to come down. You're going to have your buy stop there. Now, if you notice here, we pause for a second. When you place these sell stops, okay, you've got a choice on NinjaTrader between a sell stop and a sell stop limit. Now I want to explain the differences. A sell stop will basically put a market order in when the price is touched. A sell stop limit, once the price is touched, will try to get you filled on a limit order. So there's still a possibility you won't get filled on that trade if it blows through the price and you can't get filled on a limit. So if you want to ensure that you get filled on the price, okay, you're going to do a sell stop. Sometimes you might have a little bit of slippage. Typically that's not the case in the ES. Occasionally in crude and gold you may get that situation, but that will ensure that you're in the trade. And if you get a ticker slippage or whatever, it's usually not a big difference in the trade. So I usually do the sell stop, okay, which is what I have here. And this happens to have an ATM, meaning that once we get filled on this price, once we get filled on that at the 2060.50, now you get filled. I have a price 2 points away. I just had that set for my ATM. So what I'll do is I'll drag that up because we'll start taking profits at a point. And again, we'll get into management if you have multiple trades. Now and we'll also get into what happens if it comes back at you under the management section. But this is how you would get into the trade. Okay, how you would get into the trade. Okay, and if the market comes down, then you'll go ahead and it will come down and it'll fill us at a point. Didn't fill you there yet. Now it comes down, now it fills you when we're out of the trade. Okay. Now another scenario is that this is going to be a long trade. I'm going to say, all right guys, this is going to be an understanding trade. Same thing will go for the power play. You need to listen for the cues. Power play is a little bit different. On an understanding trade, sometimes it'll be like in the last example, 60.50 prints, we get short 60.50. For this trade for a long, I'm going to say if we print 61.75, you're going to try to get short at 61.25. Now you're going to want to do that on a limit. Okay, so what we're going to look for is a print in the market of 61.75. Okay. Now what I do, if I know that this is coming up, is I'll put a limit order way down here. And as soon as we print 6175, as soon as we get a print of 6175, I'm going to go and have my order set to put a limit there at 61 1/4. So we haven't printed 6175 yet. Okay, once we print 6175, going to print 6175. There's the 6175. I'm going to drop my limit at 61 1/4. So it needs to print 6175. We try to get filled on a limit at 61 1/4. If we can't get filled, we can't get filled, and the trade will go without us. But if we get filled on the order, we get filled. Move my stop down to try to take profits at 62 1/4. And again, we'll cover the management if we have to add onto the trade and everything like that in the next video. Okay, but that's how we would get in the trade. The power play is the same scenario. I'm going to give a price, and I'm going to say if we print, typically it's 1 tick below. Okay, so in the next example here, this would be, for example, a power play. I'm going to say, all right, guys, if we print 6175, you can either do a buy stop at 6175, or you can get filled on, try to get a limit at 6150. Okay, so that means you're either going to, it just depends on how aggressive you're going to be. You're either going to put your buy stop right up there at 6175, or if you want to, you can do a limit. Okay, so your buy stop's up there, it goes up there and touches it, you're in the trade. Or, okay, you're going to have a limit, and you're going to say 6175. As soon as that prints, you're going to go and try to get long at 6150. Now there's a chance that if this just blows right up through it, unless you have that buy stop, you're not going to get filled. Okay, there is a chance on that. A lot of times we get filled, sometimes it doesn't. So if you want to make sure you're in, I would do the buy or the sell stop. Okay, so for this example, we'll say 6175. Okay, we'll try to get filled at 6150. So this is the cues you're looking for. 6175 print, do a buy stop at 6175 or a limit at 6150. So I'm just holding my order here at 6150. As soon as we print right there, I'm going to get long. Fill me, and we go from there. If you don't want to worry about it, you're trading with an extra tick essentially, and you would go from there. Now, in the next video, what I'm going to cover is I'm going to cover the management of these trades. And again, if you only have one contract, you're going to try to still, get out at a point there, put your stop, put your target there. We'll go over the management of all the trades in the next video, but that should show you how to get in the trade. The crude oil and the gold is the same thing. Okay, different stops, but it's the same thing. We're looking for a price to print, and you can either get it on a buy stop or a limit if it's anything less than the price that I give. And again, the power plays in the UTs are very similar. And if you want to make sure you're in, just take the buy stop at that price. Unless I say we're looking to print 6250. Okay, let's assume we're not in this trade here. Okay, we're looking to print 6250. And when we print 6250, let's say I'm looking to get 6250. We're going to print 6250, and we want to get long 6150 or 62 or whatever the case may be. If that's the case, you just got to put a limit there. And again, if it comes down to 62 and it doesn't look like you're going to get filled, take it at 62 1/4. A tick should not matter in most cases because you're still getting it better than the 6250. Instead of getting it a point better, you're getting it 3 ticks better. It should not matter. We've done back tests on it, and 98% of the time, it doesn't make a difference whether you're in a tick different or not as far as a stop out goes. It can sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't over the course of a lot of trades. So I'm going to put my email up here as well. If anybody has any questions about the video, we want to make sure that you understand the entries and how to get in. Make sure that you email us here, and we will make sure we'll either email you back or we'll call you and make sure you're taken care of so that you know how to get into these trades. And that's going to cover the entry for the power play and the understanding trade. We'll catch you in the next video, guys.